Go ahead.
Hey, this is Gardner Goldsmith, and I get my liberty activism news at freekeen.com.
If you like my obscure history pieces on the LCL Report, then check out my new historical fiction novel, Pirates of Savannah. It's an adventure novel about the birth of freedom in the Low Country, and in its heart it's a tale of prisoners, refugees, and society's cast-offs all joining together to escape from government tyranny and discover a new path of liberty on the open seas. You can download it for free at piratesofsavannahbook.com. Piratesofsavannahbook.com.
I'm here with Gardner Goldsmith, who he got in a bar fight last night.
Hey, what can I tell you, man? But I made it up. I made it.
Damn status.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to pick your brain because you have actually successfully written some books and actually made money. For a beginning author, can you give me some advice on how to start? Where the heck do you publish? Should you publish yourself? I mean, give some words of advice.
Okay, well, it sort of depends on what your goals are.
Yeah,
Isn't this beautiful? Made by Terran Lupo himself.
And look at that. That's a picture I want.
Yeah, I'll be damaging my
look
teeth
at that,
on
ladies.
that sucker. Yeah, girls. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, apart from my bling, it depends on what your goal is. If you want to get something published that is nonfiction, there are certain publishing houses that will publish the nonfiction stuff. If you're a libertarian, it's going to be very difficult to get it out. You can approach people like the Independent Institute, the Mises Institute, people like that. The larger publishing houses, very, very rare. Simon & Schuster and some of those guys that should be able to do it. You could self-publish too. Now, Amazon is the company I worked with, and my book, I went to Amazon and I said, look, I want to get this thing out. They have a whole publishing division. They work with you. It's amazing. And it costs a certain amount, but I was able to get mine done as sort of a special project to be able to get articles out there to people in one volume, along with material that my father had written. And that worked great. Now, if you're going with fiction, that's a little different story, because with fiction, there are a lot of different publishing houses. And it depends on the genre. For example, Mira Publishing publishes a ton of romance. That's actually owned by Harlequin. You've got New American Library. They do romance. You've got Leisure Books with horror. Leisure is like the #1 mass market horror company, but that's a mid-list company. They don't give huge advances. They give small advances, and they might sign you on for like a 2 or 3 book deal.
How would someone actually find and get into that world? Like, say, you're not an author, nobody knows you from Jack.
Best thing that I can recommend, if you want to get involved with fiction writing, whether it's even magazines, art, like stories for magazines, or get your novels published, go to the conventions, because at the conventions you will invariably find writers and editors and publishers and agents. At many of the conventions for the different genres, what they're starting to do now is they're starting to bring in editors and agents and publishers on special days so that people can pitch them ideas, they can meet them, and if you start to go to more of these conventions, you really start to meet a lot of folks. I've been successful in meeting a lot of people, and I'm starting to shop a novella around. That's not going to be a self-published thing. I'm going to go through the circles first with the novella at a large number of mid-list novella publishers and things like that. So I think the best thing to do is to go to the conventions. Now, then the next step is, once you get to learn about the convention circuit and the authors who go there, the agents who go there, the editors who go there, then you have to decide, hey, what's the best deal for me, getting an agent, or should I send my stuff out to a slush pile, or how does that work?
What's a slush pile for folks?
Well, beyond, in addition to being the band for which F. Paul Wilson plays drums and Heather Graham sings and Dave Sims plays guitar, it's pretty cool. They always play at conventions. It's wicked. In addition to that, slush pile is when you send something out unsolicited to a company that will accept unsolicited manuscripts. Many times, companies will only accept books that are manuscripts that are submitted to them by agents. But you can do both. You can send things off to companies that will accept unsolicited manuscripts. The probability is very low of being able to get accepted. And you can send things off to agents. I think one of the key things to do is, when you go to the conventions, talk to the the authors who have already been published and get an idea of how few books actually get published. It's a really, really small number. If you've exhausted all those routes with your fiction, then you might want to try self-publishing. And now with e-publishing, it's growing dramatically. And I'll give you an idea. If you look at the website of a guy like Barry Eisler, if you follow Barry Eisler on Twitter, look up Barry Eisler, find him on Twitter. He follows another writer who is starting to basically self-publish all his stuff on ebook. And there's no percentage that's taken out. And the way the publishing system works with publishing houses, it's going to change dramatically. It's almost all going to go to ebooks within 5 or 6 years. There will be amplified ebooks as well. What you'll see is you'll have, and I know this doesn't really help you specifically, folks, on how you're getting published, but this is the way the publishing company is going to be. You'll have most everybody's going to have an e-reader, and at the end of every paragraph, every chapter, whatever, there'll be a little icon where if you click on it, you could hear the author talk about that particular section of the book, or watch a video. You know, see Dan Brown as he researched this scene in Venice, and they gave him a video recorder, and it will be an amplified book. So most of these things will be done through e-format, downloadable, and what happens is the publishing houses essentially, it's sort of like a space rental system in the bookstores. What they do is they will provide the bookstores with their books and promise to buy back any books that aren't sold. And there are different buyback levels. So the bookstores, the book and mortar bookstores, have different incentives to keep certain things on the shelves. They will do that for a certain period of time. So it's almost like they're renting spaces on the shelves to have their wares looked at. The publishing company is doing this. They know that they can bank on a certain number of their big authors making that purchase worthwhile. With the smaller authors, it might not, unknown authors, that's why it's so hard to break in. So you got to remember that for a lot of these publishing companies, they already have a stable of authors. And they're going to get those guys in there first. And it's going to be very difficult for a first-time author to get the publicity generated for the publishing company to say, you know what, we're going to take a risk. We're going to, instead of devoting X amount of money to, getting this space for Brian Keene, who's an awesome horror writer, we're going to reduce that amount and put you in with us. So it's really tricky. I would suggest go to the conventions, read some of the publishing books, Publishers Weekly, and then if all else fails, within the next 5-6 years, self-publishing is good, and then it's going to be up to you to generate knowledge about your stuff within certain circles, like libertarian circles. Taryn, you're pretty well known. I'm pretty well known among some groups. So we have the ability to be able to talk to people and do the type of publicity that would be necessary that in an e-publishing world now, I think our libertarian circles can start to maintain people like you, people like me, and other authors who want to get their stuff out.
Well, Freedom Book Club is a good example.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
Could you tell people in about 30 seconds what that's about?
Yeah, Freedom Book Club was something created by our friend Ferb, who actually can't be here with us today at Porkfest. And there's Paul. Hey, he's got the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
He's in crutches.
How you doing, man?
Man,
this will have to be edited
to get here. I'm impressed.
I'm sorry I couldn't get up sooner, man. I'm dying. I'm dying.
Oh man.
So yeah, come on with me in a second. Okay, Freedom Book Club. Okay, all right. I'll be down there, Paul. I'm just gonna get something hooked up. Okay.
Only on LCL Report.
Hey,
is it unedited?
Hi guys. Yes, seriously.
This can't get much more low budget.
I know. I wish I could have gotten here sooner, but So yeah. So deal is Freedom Book Club. It's freedombookclub.com, and what Ferb has done is he's created a website where it's almost like the old laissez-faire catalogs. I used to look up the laissez-faire catalogs, and I'd have to get so many suggestions on books. You can suggest books to the Freedom Book Club folks. They will be put up. And every month you can vote on a book of the month. That book will get concentrated buying power placed on it at Amazon.com. It'll go up the ranks at Amazon. And any of the proceeds that Freedom Book Club makes through its connection through Amazon, because Amazon gives residuals to people who link to them, go directly to the Liberty Scholarship Fund. It's an awesome idea.
Thanks so much, Gardner.
Thanks, Taryn.